Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope you're having a great week so far. So, my name is Megan Nolan, if we haven't met yet, and I am the curator of this amazing community of elevated and empowered entrepreneurs, a global collective of people on a mission. And it is my mission to help you get the tools that you need to live, move, and feel your best so that you can show up as your most confident, centered, and charismatic self and go out and make the magic that you are destined for, as well as the income and the impact. So I can help you with that using the tools of yoga and exercise, but I know that there are many more facets to you and also to running a business. And so that's why it's my honor to bring in special guests from all around the world to share their magic with you, because I know that it will help you to learn and grow and really become that most powerful and aligned version of yourself. So I have a really special guest with me today. Her name is Hollis Citron, and I will read her bio before I bring her on so you can get a sense for the amazingness that you are about to meet. So Hollis is on a mission to make creativity accessible to everyone. She is a seasoned art teacher and the founder of I Am Creative and Express Yourself Publishing. She is passionate and wants to shout from the rooftops that being creative is not just about drawing and painting. Creativity is within everyone. I love that. And I totally agree. So let me bring her on and welcome. Welcome, Hollis. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm really well. Thank you. Thanks for asking. So, before I let you take the mic and tell us a little bit more about you and how you got inspired, where you are in the world, I'm just going to let you know that I'm just going to go and check on the tech while you're doing your introduction, and we will get rolling from there.
Okay,
So, go ahead.
so there we go. Okay, so hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me in this space. I love what you're doing and so important. So I am in New Jersey and close to Philadelphia. And yeah, I've been here for 19 years. I'm a Philly girl, but I've lived in many different places. But yeah, so what I do, so this whole art teacher thing, I've been doing it for a long time, about 30 years, which is crazy when I put a number on it like that. I have no idea how that happened, but I've done it. I got to do it in lots of spaces, traditional, non-traditional. Non-traditional meaning from homeless shelters to having my own businesses, to more traditional being meaning in the school system. And what I realized was that throughout this whole time, my mission has always been pretty clear ever since I'm about 20 years old, that I've always wanted to expand the definition of what creativity is. Because immediately, even in going to art school and all this stuff, when you say your whole niceties of what you do, people say, I can't draw or paint when you say you're an art teacher. And I say, okay, that's great. I can't either. Even though I went to art school, I went for ceramics. Like, it's not my thing. It's not my passion. It's a tool that I can use, but it's not necessarily my thing. So that's kind of what I was always saying along the way. And as I got older, I just always my mission is to empower people who are sitting around a business table, to have them expand their thinking that creativity is in communication. It's in your imagination of the business of what you're creating and what you're forming. That as a scientist, there's creativity in that, and everything that you're seeing in what you're coming up with for solutions. Everything. It's not to negate people that are dancing and cooking and everything, but it's expanding it, because I believe when people see themselves within the definition, they feel empowered.
I love that. I love that. And I think that really opens it up, because I know a lot of times I had that same situation. I was telling you the other day that my partner took us to one of those, paint as you go art parties. And I was laughing because I thought, I'm not going to be very good at this, but he took us to the peacock one because I love peacocks. And turns out I was actually quite good at it. And I was so surprised. But I love that you're really opening that up. And so as you guys arrive, let us know how you're doing, and let us know how you like to express your creativity. Or have you ever told yourself that you're not creative? Because I did, clearly, for a long time. So I love that you really are broadening the definition of creativity. And I think you already really spoke to that, but I love that you're really opening it up. So it seems more like it's an individual's way of expressing themselves rather than, a straight across the board definition of creativity. Would you agree?
I feel that way. Yeah, for sure. Because I feel like when people own it, and again, it's not taking it away from in expanding this and people feeling it, then people can show up more authentically.
Mm,
And in being more authentic, then people aren't hiding. When we put each other in these boxes, in these containers, then it says, okay, well, this person's the cook, and this person's the scientist, and this person's the lawyer, and this person's the doctor. Whereas if there's this person who's the doctor, but they love photography, and I met this amazing doctor who what he does is he's brought his photography into his offices and actually uses it as a conversation point, not in a
mm,
narcissistic way of, oh, look at my art, but he'll
mhm,
say, this is one of my passions. What do you like to do?
mm.
What lights you up?
I
And
love
in
it.
having those conversations, people can feel more expansive and they can feel more validated.
Mm, I love that. I love that. And so, what about people, we've kind of spoken to this, but what about people who don't consider themselves quote unquote creative? I think you gave a really good expression there because you're allowing the space for somebody to recognize that creativity can come in so many different forms. It might be planting your flower beds in a really beautiful way that just it lights you up. And so I think what I'm hearing you say there is really anything that gets you fired up and makes you feel like you're in the flow state can be a creative expression, right? Would you agree?
I would totally agree.
Okay.
Example, one of my friends is a personal organizer. She was in business for a long time doing business logistics, planning trucks, how many things go in the truck, planning when the trucks leave, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, fast forward number of years later, she's like, "Oh, I think I want to do personal organizing. Does that make sense?" I'm like, nothing makes more sense in the entire world than, I mean, it just everything leads up to something, but it gets her
Mm.
so excited. And when she sees a mess, she's
Oh,
like,
she's
oh,
like, yes.
yay. We can do this and we can do that. And I'm just kind of like,
Right.
help, what do we do? But yeah, it's her happy space.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So as you guys are here, I see a bunch of you here. So definitely chime in on the conversation. What do you love to do that when you are presented with the opportunity, you're like, yes, okay, this is fun. And it really gets you in that zone because yeah, I'm agree with you. If I saw a mess, I'm like, ooh, clutter makes me anxious.
It gets overwhelming. And I have to share this. So on my podcast, I invite people who do all different kinds of jobs, hobbies, and interests. And this person was a biologist. And he's like, Hollis, I have no idea why you asked me to be here. Like, I do not consider myself to be a creative being. And I said, why do you even want to be? Why are you a biologist? And he's like, I think it's sexy when you look through the microscope and you see all the colors and the shapes and the way that they come together and kind of
Mm,
what like we're working towards. Like, I just see it, I'd like get excited about it. I'm like, well, that's why we're talking.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I actually should connect you with a friend of mine, Carrie, who I forget the name of it, but she's an artist in that sense as well. Like she takes microscopic images and then blows it up and uses macro and micro and does silk screening. It's incredible. Her name's Carrie Yashin. And so, yeah, I'll definitely
Yeah.
tag her and then I'll give you the link because you should check it out to connect them because I think they would like totally hit it off.
That'd be great. I love it. I love it.
Awesome. So then what do you suggest to people to help them kind of spark that little flame of inspiration? Do you have any tips for people on that?
I say just kind of do like take action. And it can be in the micro, like what are things that even inspire you? Because some people are like, Hollis, I don't even know what I like to do anymore. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just kind of stuck in my routine and did it. It's like, well, what did you used to do? What did you like to do when you were younger? Oh,
It's a good
well,
question.
I really like to cook. Oh, well, have you been cooking lately? Not really. I've been so busy. So then pick that thing, pick a recipe that you think would be fun to make and just
Mm,
do it. If it's going into nature and you just really want to feel more connected. So then, because when you get into those spaces, you get more downloads, you get more inspiration. When your mind stops that chatter, as you know very, very well, when we get into that space, then we're open to receiving.
mhm,
So it's kind of like taking those steps to remember what you like to do. Or if you're in the space where you're like, I've been wanting to do that, like I've really been wanting to take a belly dancing class, but I just haven't done it. Well, then you know what? Go find a class
Mm-hmm.
and just do it.
I like that. I love that a lot. And I know that's always, for some people and myself included at times in my life, it's kind of hard to take that initial first step. And definitely over the past year and a half with the pandemic, we're so like in our groove, in our routine, and that lack of motivation. I learned a term that they called it languishing. That's sort of like sort of midline state. And so that's it. It's that first step can always, not, I should say, can be challenging. And so, yeah, just remembering what it was at whatever point, like when you were feeling your best, what were you doing then? And then like broadening your definition as you're suggesting that it can be anything, right? And like for me, for a long time, because I used to work for a tattoo artist and who's very amazing, very artistic, and, painted me in all sorts of beautiful ways. And I was always like, well, I'm not an artist. I'm a canvas. And then I had this sort of realization of, I can express my creativity, and my creativity comes across in my classes and the sequencing that just when I'm in that state, I'm like, wow, that was a pretty amazing flow to it, or getting these like insightful downloads, like little nuggets that I'm sharing throughout the class and also through my writing. And so there's, because of my business, I do a lot of content creation. And so I sort of got out of that flow of writing just to write and, from the heart and inspiration. Luckily, I can do that and share it through my content, but the writing is a space for me for sure. And so you were mentioning that as well. And so have you been a writer for most of your life, or is that something new you picked up?
It's something new I have picked up. And to tell you the truth, if someone told me that I was going to have a publishing house 2 years ago, I'd be like, what are you talking about? And that's what these things that kind of happen in these things that evolve. I always kind of realized I wanted to write a story and tell us. I have so many stories to tell, but I always was like on the down low, like I'd like to write a book or something. But a year and a half ago, well, 2019, yeah, I was approached about a multi-author book opportunity, and I was like, I could do that. 3,000 words, title my chapter. It already has a name for the book and everything. And yeah, and it ended up being this life-changing kind of event actually for me, because I got to meet so many incredible people, collaborate, network, and share, really become like worldwide. Went to #1 and all that kind of stuff. So
Cool.
I started my own publishing house this year. And it's really, thank you. And I'm so excited. I have 2 multi-author books, and just, it's really about sharing. It's that consistent thread of a mission of sharing your story, of telling your story. Because I truly believe that when you put it in writing and it can reach far and wide, that it changes lives.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. And I've definitely seen a lot more of that recently. And I think is such a beautiful way. It makes it a lot more accessible for somebody to share their story and be in a book without having to write the whole thing.
Exactly. Exactly. It takes away that, because there are so many people, I've spoken to so many people that are like, I have been wanting to write a book forever, but it's overwhelming. So when
For
all
sure.
you have to do is write a chapter and you get guidance, you get support, and you get all these other opportunities for networking and everything. And you have somebody that takes care of the editing, the formatting, the cover design, the uploading, the marketing.
That's a lot.
Makes it a little less overwhelming.
Totally. I love that. And so that kind of leads into my next question, the benefits of being in a multi-author book. So, being able to be in one without having to do all that other stuff. Michelle says writing a book is overwhelming. Exactly. It can be, right? Overwhelm is a choice. We know that from the neurological brain science of things, but yeah, for sure. Cause you look at it and you're like, holy hell, like, how am I supposed to do all of this and then get it on Amazon and figure out how to do it and all the things. So, and I definitely see the multi-author books being really hot right now. And, I can see why. And so can you share a little bit more about some of the benefits of being in one or part of one?
Yeah, I mean, the people that I have in my space, like they've already connected. It's like this little family. And there's really support along the way, like I said. So it's like you're not in it alone. And it's really about, a lot of people are brought, so in a private Facebook space, a lot of people are brought in, there's like guest speakers and things. So you're getting a lot of enrichment beyond just the book itself. So things, because especially if you're an entrepreneur, it's about visibility. So it's gaining all of these tools about how to use your voice more, how to be a clearer speaker, both your voice, spoken voice, and your writing it, putting in writing. So there's just so much support along the way. And it goes beyond the book, because beyond the book, there's a summit and a space where we get to interview each other, invite people in, and there's just podcast opportunities and all of this stuff where my heart is truly centered in wanting you to be seen and tell your story. I mean, to have people come to me and say, I read your chapter and it really affected me. And I think the beauty of these multi-author books is really, it does make it, like you said, more accessible for people. But people can also have a choice on, because there are so many different topics, and you pick the ones that resonate with you where you really feel like you can be a good fit. And the turnaround time is quick. Like it's within 5 to 6 months.
Very cool. And a lot of exposure, connections, networking, refinement of their messaging, like that's a lot, and especially when it really is taking the pressure off, and it could be such a wide global reach for you that you likely wouldn't have had before, which is massively valuable.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so I know that you are working on one yourself. Why don't you share a little bit more about your opportunity, what you have going on with that, so people can learn more from you or connect with you and see how they could get involved with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. One of the books is called Creativity is Whatever You Want It to Be. So I'm looking for people in all different kinds of jobs, hobbies, and interests that can answer the questions, how do you define creativity? And then to share their story on how it's played out in their life, in whatever that means. And the second one is Why I Am a Teacher. And I think it's important for people, to be able, especially in these times, which have been challenging, so many incredible stories of navigating your way through and really knowing your purpose and your why.
That's so key. That's so key. So I will, I'm going to drop that link in here, and then Hollis is also in our community. And so if you have any questions or you want to connect with her about this opportunity, or, pursuing that amazing opportunity of being in a multi-author group, then definitely reach out. So I'm going to just drop it here, and then I will, wait a second. Okay, cool. I'm going to drop it there, and then I'll add a little bit more of a description. Multitasking is slower right now. I haven't had as much coffee as I need to have yet, but so then I love that. Thank you. And so, yeah, the link is in there to connect with Hollis. And then is there a timeline on that, or like you're working on it, you said?
Thank you. Well, Creativity is Whatever You Want It to Be. There is a timeline. The end of July is for chapters to be done. And then looking for it to be launched it'll probably be September, the end of September, for the launch. So there is a more definitive timeline in that, and gathering more people into the space for Why I Am a Teacher. So yeah, all you have to do is go to the link that you're sharing, and there's an application that's just so we can get to know each other more, and then schedule a chat.
Okay, awesome. So that's good to know for people that are watching this in the next couple of weeks. But those of you who end up catching this later, either on YouTube or in the group, definitely connect. You can fill out the application, I'm sure, and it'll take you to connect with Hollis. If you're too late for those books, she's probably got some other ones on the horizon.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Well, I love that. Thank you. And so as we wrap up, if anybody that's watching here live or replay, let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to know what your creative creative spark is, because I know as entrepreneurs, that is, part of our makeup. I think it's part of our DNA is to have that, like, there's something I must share with the world, and we feel called to do that, right? And so keep in mind, it doesn't mean that you need a paintbrush or, a fancy pen to do that. Your creativity might come in, who knows what, the way you show up and connect with your community members or your patients or your clients or your members or whatever it is. Really not getting locked into a box of what creativity means is really, what I'm taking away from this today. And I hope you are too. And so we'd love to know what your creative outlet is. And then as we wrap up, Hollis, did you have anything else that you wanted to share, or a little nugget that people can take away and chew on?
I think it's just really well said. Thank you so much for sharing. You tied it up in a bow so nicely. And I mean, I define creativity as your voice, as your expression, and it's however you show up, however you can be authentic, however you can feel empowered, however you can be comfortable within putting your 2 feet on the ground and being. So, and I always just say, if you have this passion, this fire in your belly, you got to get it out. You got to express, not repress.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, somebody type that in the chat. Express, not repress. Yeah, I know. It's like I've seen recently that, of course, there's like we all want to live it and go for it as fully as we can. And somebody was saying recently, and I always think it's true, like, don't die with the music in you. It's like you've got to go out and do what you can to live it up and express yourself. And in this group, we talk a lot about getting out of the way of perfectionism and procrastination. And sometimes when it comes to creativity, we can be really hard on ourselves. And I think what you're saying there is express it, right? Like, go for it. You're only going to get better. You're only going to learn as you go. And it's about taking that messy, inspired action. And yeah, I mean, Picasso, he probably wasn't nailing it the first go.
You know how many times, I mean, there's this great children's book, Beautiful Oops.
Oh, I love it.
When I was teaching, we'd always say in the beginning, it would always be explained every day. And what happens when we make a beautiful oops? We try again. And there's all these different ways. So, I mean, if you call them mistakes or whatever you call them, it's going to happen. And it's just knowing that it's going to happen and how you can turn it into something else. Because so often, don't you agree? I mean, it turns into things you never would have thought of because you're a little bit more open.
Absolutely. Kind of allows you that creative space to go for it and then go down a different route, and like, why do we don't want to do the same thing over and over. We want to really, have the happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say, and really learn to navigate that. And that's really what it comes back to, is just finding that fire in your belly and learning how to express it in a way that feels authentic to you. And whether that's, out in your garden or dancing or, throwing fire darts, who cares? Just go out and do it.
Yes.
Yes. Be safe though, if you're choosing that last one. I don't know where that came from. I don't spin fire, but I know a lot of people that do, but I just got this image. Anyways, that seems like an appropriate note to wrap it up on. Go up there and throw some fire.
There we go. Throw fire, breathe fire.
Yes. Light your fire, go out and live it. And maybe that's it. I knew there was a way to bring it all back together, is that you have a spark within you, right? And whatever you can do to kind of nurture that flame and go out and not be the one that snuffs it out on your own, just do those little things every day to, feel that sense of being lit up and move back into that joyful expression of your own creativity, whatever that might be, right? So thank you so much, Hollis. It was so fun to chat with you today. And I have the link here in the comments, and I'm going to pop it up in the description for those of you that are here live or catching the replay later. Definitely let us know, what your version of throwing flame darts is. And what your takeaway from this was. And reach out to Hollis with any questions, whether you're going to be involved in those upcoming multi-author books, or if you have questions about being part of one she's got brewing in the future, definitely connect with her, because she's up to amazing things. So thank you again, Lovey. And to all of you amazing other people in this incredible community of elevated and empowered entrepreneurs, we love and appreciate you, and keep sharing your magic and shining your light, and have a beautiful rest of your day. And we will see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.